Hey guys, it's Sandro here, and welcome to part 3 and the finale of this Honda NSX series, in which I'll be taking you through ceramic coating the paint. We'll have a final showcase reel of the finished product, and a quick look at this amazing car with some outdoor footage. Now, the customer's coating of choice for his car was NV Nova Pro to protect and enhance the finish, so let's get to it. It was a perfect 18 degrees Celsius day in the shop, which for me personally, give or take 20 degrees is my ideal temperature for applying ceramic coatings. I like to start with a generous bead of the coating along the suede applicator, but then I'll halve the amount of coating for each additional section. I'll dab the coating throughout my section to ensure even distribution, and then I'll do an average of 3 overlapping passes moving in horizontal and vertical swipes. Now, I've used Nova Pro long enough to know that in this 20 degree temperature setting, approximately 2 to 3 minutes is a good amount of time to allow the coating to flash and be optimally wiped down. So if I work with a little spring in my step, I can actually apply it to 2 sections at a time and then come back and wipe both sections down, working in a leapfrog method that ensures that I'm being as efficient as possible and not standing around wasting time waiting for the coating to flash. Now, for the actual wipe off, it's really best to use 2 microfiber cloths. The first one is to gather the majority of the excess coating, and the second one is to finish streak free. I always keep my first cloth in the right pocket of my apron, and the second cloth is always in the left, as you really don't want to mix them up and then start doing your final wipe with your first cloth, as it just won't work and it'll end up driving you crazy and wasting time. But beyond that, I'll fold my cloths to clean sections after every few sections, and I'll switch to new cloths once I've used them all up, usually using about 6 to 8 cloths per car. So how do I know if the coating flashing and wipe off times are correct? The answer is partly due to how the coating looks, which should be streaky with blue or purple highlights as an indication that it's flashing and bonding to the paint. But even more so, it's predominantly based on how the coating feels and behaves when I wipe it down. If the wipe off is easy, clean and streak free, it's actually an indication that your timing is perfect. But if you go to wipe the coating and it keeps on smearing and streaking like you're just pushing it from one area to another, it's usually an indication that you haven't waited long enough. And if you try and wipe down the coating and it's extremely grippy and tough so that you need to use force to remove it, that's usually a clear indication that you've waited too long. So to put it simply, it's all about how the coating feels and behaves during the wipe down. In the last video I discussed how important it is to stay consistent in your method during the paint correction process. And the best advice I can give for applying ceramic coatings is the exact same advice, which is once you've worked out your flash and wipe off time, be consistent with how you did your first section. Every little thing you alter in your technique can have a massive effect on how quickly or slowly your coating will flash and how easy or difficult your coating experience will be. So for instance, if you start doubling the amount of coating you use in each section, it'll result in the coating taking much longer to flash. And if you halve the amount, the coating could flash instantly. Also important is the size of your section. Generally, in cooler weather, you can successfully work slightly larger and even multiple sections at once, as the coating will be slower to flash. However, in hotter climates, and also depending on the particular coating that you're using, it's really best to avoid working big or multiple sections at once, as the coating will prove to flash much more rapidly and inconsistently, causing a difficult user experience. Also, keep an eye on the ambient temperature. Sometimes you'll find that from the time you start applying the coating to the time you finish, the temperature can rise or drop dramatically in the space of a few hours, and that'll massively accelerate or decelerate the coating's flashing times. So you actually may need to adjust your technique and timing during the course of a day. And finally, keep track of how many overlapping passes you do when applying the coating. The more passes and the longer you wipe the coating into the section, the faster it'll flash. So in essence, you can actually encourage the coating to flash faster by doing some extra overlapping passes, and you can also encourage it to flash more slowly by doing less passes. If you're a little confused as to what I mean when I'm referring to flash times, it's basically the coating's way of telling you that it's bonded to the paint and is now ready to be leveled or wiped down. It's actually much the same way as a wax will haze over as an indication that it's ready to be wiped down. So if you don't allow the coating to flash, it means that it hasn't effectively bonded to the paint, so when you wipe it down, you'll actually be almost entirely removing it. But if you wait too long, the coating will start curing and hardening to the point that you simply won't be able to remove it with a cloth. The truth is that after you've applied as many coatings as I have, you really don't consciously think about all these little factors and influences, but rather just respond to them almost automatically. But on a more subconscious level, I'm constantly analysing and considering my environment and how the coating is responding and behaving. The last point I'll make about ceramic coatings is about their look, or how they improve the finish of a car. The truth is that paint correction is where a car's paint is truly transformed. Polishing paint is not only how we remove defects, but also how we create gloss, depth and clarity. And without a quality paint correction outcome, a coating will do very little to improve the look of a car's finish. So, although a ceramic coating can certainly take the look and finish of the paint to the next level, it just can't transform it on its own. Only paint correction can do that, and that's always where the bulk of the work is performed. Now as I finish up coating this car, I'll wrap up this video and series with my thoughts. Firstly, I'll let you guys judge the finish for yourselves in a moment, but for me personally, after the car was all completed and I finally had the time to stop and take a step back, I can honestly say that this was one of the most amazing finishes and results I've ever had to date, and really deserving of this historic and iconic car. Secondly, a big thank you goes out to Blake, the owner of the car, for giving me the opportunity to work on one of my all-time favourite cars. And if you go to my Instagram page and post of this NSX, I've got a link to Blake's Instagram account so you can actually follow this car's journey in the future. Thirdly, every car I detail gets the same level of care and respect it deserves. But some cars just invoke a little more emotion and feeling than others. And this was certainly one of those cars and one of those jobs that made me truly appreciate and love what I do. So all that's really left is to show you guys the finished result and take this beautiful example of a Honda NSX on the road to wrap up this video. As always, I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video useful. Please like, comment and subscribe to this channel to show your support for these videos, and I'll see you guys soon.
People around me don't understand it. I really don't mind them, they think I am crazy. People around me, they don't understand it. They don't know what it's like to see you from my eyes. They have never held you while you sleep at night. Never get to kiss you when you wake and smile. So they will never know. Was flowing lazy. There is luscious and the head feels hazy. I really don't care at all about the Macy. They don't know what it's like to see you from my eyes. They have never held you while you sleep at night. Never get to kiss you when you wake and smile. So they will never.
It does look spectacular. Yeah, there's so much more light colour coming out of it. Yeah, the colour is like, I've never seen like that much colour in it before. It usually went quite a dark, you know, almost like I wouldn't say flat, but it's crazy. I can even see a little bit of it. It feels like purple or something that I've never seen before. Awesome. That's definitely looking the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's great. It's great to hear.